Happy spooky month, everyone! Woo! Yeah! I feel like every decade there's a show or TV special where we all love as kids, but we forget that it happens when we grow up. And well, actually, there's two of them, but anyways, for me being a 2000s kid, I feel like these two TV specials always showed up around Halloween, and that fits this time of year. Spooky Godmother is a series of books by Jill Thompson, and later, in 2003 and 2005, turned into TV movies. That shows the story of a little girl really appreciating Halloween and whatnot, while her older cousin just don't want to be around her and celebrate Halloween on their own. The start of the first movie is with pretty much Jimmy and the gang and getting all readied up, and Hannah is joining them. This is Hannah, by the way, this little girl. And pretty much what happens is that Jimmy decides to spook Hannah by getting her into the spook house, which is this house that is haunted around the neighborhood. And pretty much what does happen is that Hannah gets startled and scared, and she scampers off in the spook house, while Jimmy and the gang just walks out. They think it's just a practical trick to spread some time of Halloween. Hannah begins to cry in tears, and then this witch comes in, and this witch helps her out and figure out what's her problem. And basically, this whole thing happens with her being her scary godmother, where basically, to cheer up Hannah, she invites her to go into a Halloween party to make her less scared of Halloween, if anything. We see a lot of people in this. We see from every stereotypical tropes around Halloween time with a skeleton. And also, yes, the skeleton does come out the closet. Clever boys, am I right? But we also see this usually happen with all the monsters that come in. Hannah gets scared because, she's a little kid. She doesn't understand that these are, normal people. She just sees them as monsters. We see everything from that skeleton to the big bad wolf, and even Nosferatu and his bitch and his son. Yo, oh, blood is popping. But and I think you're seeing this. This comes from 2003, 2005, but basically this is from the era of CGI movies not really being the best of productions. CGI was usually used in hand-drawn animation to just give a little bit more leeway to some things. You can see it with definitely with Disney. I'm not showing Disney because I don't want to get my self crucified by using Disney videos, but pretty much if anywhere I have to describe CGI it's the helping hand to a lot of animators, so they don't have to do that much dangerous work, especially with backgrounds or very articulate stuff where they can have that stuff of 3D and made easier on the string. I think the one thing I will actually do give praise about this special and the other one is that the TV backgrounds look great, and I don't mean TV, but I would say out of anything that I do appreciate from this is it just looks like a book, but just with the characters. Oh my god, this just feels so out of place, but I think that it gives it a lot of charm, especially for someone that grew up around that time that's watching stuff. It was either stuff like this, or you get stuff that has like bare backgrounds or nothing that's going on, where it's a pick your poison scenario, especially with something like this. I feel like if I had to choose between this or like the Madagascar TV show, it would probably be this because of how stylized is it. But if we're going for humor, probably the Madagascar one because I don't know. Oh, I guess because of how weirdly funny it gets.
Right, but who can resist this?
But anyways, after all that, she meets Kevin the monster, and she bawls her eyes out because out of anything, since she trusts her older cousin, and like most kids, she trusts people that are older than her, or she says that monsters eat little kids, and pretty much for a large time of this special, we kind of just see Hannah being scared of him the most. We could see her hanging out with the vampire. The vampire's totally cool with her. Even when the vampire tries to bite her, she fucking takes it like a champ. She's saying nah. And out of anything that we do see, what does happen is, in the story of the plot of the house party, the wolf pretty much eats everything and kind of just screws the party. And so they have to pull an audible and get pizza. But the biggest problem is they're broke.
12 extra larges at $16 each. Of course, you could overside for it.
No.
So they have to kind of, finagle Kevin to get the money.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
But the biggest thing that does happen is Wolf is the kind of the perpetrator of this because of the price, and the man was about to take like all the pizzas to eat for himself.
He's fat!
And so the scary godmother just decides, no, you're going to pay for this, and pretty much bullies him into submission that he will be in debt with her. So there's all that. But after the pizza, what I think is actually really great is we actually see how Hannah kind of grows to not hate Kevin the monster, but more just understand him. Because out of anything I think there is in this, besides the relationship with Hannah and Scary Godmother, I think one of the best things about this special is her relationship with Kevin and understand them. But before we go further on, we have to sidetrack back into Jimmy and the gang, where pretty much Jimmy is kind of just being a turd and just saying, nobody go in there, she is going to come out. And pretty much we kind of just see them going back and forth with the party and them, and even Jimmy's friends, Katie and Kevin the human, they pretty much already had trick-or-treating going, and pretty much you see that Katie has a crush on Kevin, and Kevin is kind of oblivious on most of things. And, after, kind of these dumb jokes with the recount joke, and
That's still one vote for everyone. Recount! That's one vote for everyone. Recount!
What are you doing? Nobody has changed their vote.
pretty much just Jimmy kind of being insecure about going in. It kind of just stays like that for the longest until they finally decide to go in. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But basically what does happen is that Hannah kind of explains what she was talking about. She kind of just says that Jimmy's been telling her all these things. And little did we know, Kevin knows about Jimmy. And Kevin usually, spooks him every other Thursday. And so they kind of cock a plan, okay? They cock a plan, if anything. Pretty much once Jimmy and the gang finally gains courage, they go, and get Hannah, but they see the vampire. And pretty much the vampire kid kind of just plays with them, doing the joke of,
Hey, have you seen a little kid dressed like a dumb fairy princess, probably bawling her eyes out like a big baby?
Fairy wings? Gold crown? Pink dress?
Yeah!
Nope.
Basically what does happen is Jimmy kind of just provokes them and saying that you're not a real vampire and you're a narc. And basically what does happen is they get spooked out of everyone that was at the party, from the skeleton to the vampires to the wolf and even the monster. Long and short, Jimmy gets what he deserves. Does the other group deserve it? That's on you. I don't think so. Because if anything, they were just kind of the lackeys. And, let's be real. Kids do just dumb things because, the other kid's doing it. So, pick your poison with that. And basically, at the end, Hannah pretty much she gets a key from her scary godmother. And it just ends like that, to just say that there's going to be a sequel. But we don't know. Yeah. I guess if anything, if I had to describe my thoughts on this, I thought this was a cool run back to seeing something like this. I thought it was really enjoyable. I actually really liked how everything went. I think for it being the first movie, you had to do something like this where you had to show all these monsters to kind of get the viewer that's never seen this to sympathize with Hannah, to kind of, you know, get her normalized to this stuff. But if I had to give a good rating on it, I say I'd recommend this to anyone, Halloween fan or not, spooky fan, definitely. I would say this for a kids special, it's underappreciated. Hey, don't leave. We got a double header. We got Scary Godmother 2, Jimmy's Revenge. There's no 2 though. Basically, the synopsis is 1 year passes is from the big spook that Jimmy had, and pretty much he plans to make Halloween not a living hell, but pretty much just ruin the spirit of Halloween for everything. Even we see the old friends come back to get Jimmy, and pretty much they're seeing how crazy Jimmy has gone for the past year with this, where he pretty much just gotten his whole room booby trapped for Kevin the monster.
Think fast, Chuckle Nuts!
Pretty much, let's just say it in this way. Bro's traumatized from this, and it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. It's funny in the way of he's really gotten this traumatized because of a monster. We even see this with his food. He can't eat spaghetti correctly anymore. But out of anything, and I think it is sad that this kid's just been this traumatized. And even by looking at Jimmy's design, this man looks like he would be a murderer or something. And I don't want to use that word because, you know, YouTube gun strikes, but I'm being fairly real with you when I say Jimmy looks like a menace to society. Get this guy a black hoodie, and I'm telling you this, I think a lot of people would be scared of him. Alright, quick tangent after that. Hannah's pretty much decorating her room, and she meets Kevin the monster again, where pretty much it's just a quick chit chat. Kevin tells her to visit her scary godmother because of she needs cobwebs, and pretty much she's seeing the production of Halloween going in her house. And Doocy is this, that pretty much the wolf is doing the grunt work, you know, canonical, but basically as Wolf does that stuff, she's getting all the great stuff prepared, even the skeletons doing that. But basically what does happen is that pretty much the older kids and Hannah is going to go pumpkin harvesting, where they're just going to get pumpkins. Jimmy, he kind of doesn't get invited, but Hannah does call him to see if he does want to come, and Jimmy kind of just gives this disgusting grin like he's the Grinch that's about to steal Christmas, where pretty much he just decides that on that night he just sneaks in and just destroys all the pumpkins. Blood was invited and he came in at the wrong time to do this. Jesus Christ. But now we just kind of see that, you know, the gang's there, daytime, all these pumpkins are smashed, and we see what happens in the fright world, where basically everything that Jimmy is doing is kind of affecting them. We see that with the pumpkins disappearing, the skeleton losing magic, the wolf losing his shirt, Kevin becoming smaller and losing a lot of weight. Like, this man is causing so much effect. I'm telling you this, if Jimmy was bald, you can call him no David head ass, if anything. But out of Hannah's creativity, Hannah just says, oh look, they're pre-made mouths, we can still use these. And pretty much we kind of see the whole story of the first half is that whatever Kevin does, it affects everyone, but whatever Hannah does, it fixes things. So it kind of goes as that, where now, they figure, or whatever's going to happen next. Where now a time skip happens, it's the big day of Halloween, where Jimmy, he is kind of just being a fucking mark at this point. Listen, I've seen your wrestling stuff. Your wrestling stuff is trash. But pretty much the gang gets their old costumes and they go into the old spook house, which Jimmy already messed up because he threw toilet paper everywhere. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. I know you don't like the holiday, but come on. Why do you gotta be such a party pooper? Jesus. Like, come on. But long story short, or Jimmy, not included, but he will be included for some reason. But Hannah gets the gang into Spooky Godmother's party, and pretty much they get a big spook for the first time, but it's all fun. It's all cool here with us in the neighborhood. And what happens is, basically, they're all just enjoying the party. It's pretty much we're pretty much at the end of the story here, but pretty much it's just them being them. They're just enjoying themselves out of anything. And if anything that does happen is we do see this cool dance scene. Yeah, dance scene. I mean, yo, they really busting it down though. But out of anything that we do see is right before they actually give the prize of the winner of the scariest person, Jimmy sneaks in and takes the prize. Oh my god, why do you have to be here, Jimmy? I'm going to say this right now before I give you the closing of this. Jimmy is the reason why I don't like this sequel. Jimmy is such a turd, and I don't care that you're traumatized about Halloween. Dude, like, come on. I don't care what anybody says. You are being such a prick. You're being a prick to your little cousin and your friends. Come on, dude. Like, be better. Be better. But pretty much, Jimmy scares Kevin the monster, and he wins the prize. And at the end, they split the candy, Hannah and Jimmy. You know, yay. But, oh my god, I hate Jimmy in this movie. Like, I don't know what I would have done with this. I think if anything, what I would have done, I think, yeah, you could have did this whole dynamic with Jimmy, you know, being this prick, but I think it could have been better if, I don't know, if Kevin just kind of, Jimmy is such a prick. Like, out of anything. Like, watching these back to back isn't bad. I actually recommend you should watch them back to back. They're on YouTube somewhere, and I'm not gonna tell you where, because guess what? You can literally just type it in, you'll find it. But long story short, I think the first one's is an actual like childhood classic that I think you should watch. If you're from the 2000s, go give it another watch. But the second one, oh my god, I hate Jimmy with a passion in this one. Just, if anything that I think, if Jimmy wasn't so much of a prick in this movie, I think this would be a good enough sequel. I will say this as my final things to say. Watch this, but watch the first one first, because if you watch the second one first, you're gonna feel so much like a prick and you're not gonna watch the second one. Alright. Hi, it's me, Jeffy. I just want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all that actually watch this thing. My perfect shit post. Out of anything that does happen, it's more things happen if you get what I'm saying. But god, I'm super tired. But long story short, after this project, I'm thinking of 1 or 2 reviews, depends on whatever I'm feeling at the time, but basically be on the lookout for those. If go on my Rumble account if you want to watch the videos that were copywritten out of my life from YouTube because of the same corporation that keeps attacking me over and over. But again, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you appreciate my sense of humor and my little rant about James over there, give me a subscribe. I guess that's all. Bye. Love you.